we're back again for a second day in a row of Tempest Live. Yeah, I'm just really bored. So that's what we're doing now. We're just live streaming all the time. No, I gotta work on some stuff for the next short film. So that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm gonna be drawing some assets for that short film. But I have some good news. I got another display, so I can look at the chat now and also work on the stream. So if you guys have any questions or anything, I have the chat right here. So you guys can like ask me stuff and whatnot. Shoot, I just hit my microphone. But yeah, this is gonna be pretty fun. It is like 93 degrees outside right now, so I have like all this body armor stuff that I'm just drinking. And yeah, I'm gonna try talking for about 2 hours. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. So you know, one of these days we should try like a 24-hour live stream, because I think that would be fun. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to move my setup around here. My desk is a real mess right now. Got like all this stuff everywhere. Gotta sort it out soon. All right, so yeah, we should get into this now. All right, full screen time. Let's get into this. So what I'm doing today is I don't even need these headphones actually. I'm actually gonna be drawing this monster thing. Actually, props to anybody who knows what the thumbnail is a reference to. And everybody's typing bruh in the chat, so you know, that's a good start. Anyways, the first thing I'm gonna do here, actually, I'm gonna name my layers this time, because last time that was kind of a mess. So where's rename layer? I don't even know how to rename layers on this. There we go. I'm gonna name this background. Okay, and I'm actually just gonna fill this in with just black. I need a black background because you'll see this monster. It's only pretty much appears like at night in this short film, so it makes sense to have a black background just to see how it looks. Okay, so actually not before we get into it officially. What in the world are you guys talking about on the chat? People are just all right. You know what? Fine. I did it. I'm gonna type in the chat right there. I just said bra in the chat. You happy now? All right. Let's get back into this. Okay. So just making sure this is working. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is actually I need to create another layer. And I have to name this layer. Let's just call this base, I guess. I don't need a better name for it. All right, so this thing is like pretty abstract in its nature, and you'll see why in a second here. But first, we need to get these settings right, and I'm gonna use a dark gray. That's good. That's a good color. I need to make this a bit bigger, just like that. Okay, yeah. Oops, I accidentally turned off the pen pressure. Alright, so this creature is going to look kind of like this. Actually, you know what? For some reason, I like my headphones on while I'm streaming. I don't know why. I guess like it blocks out any other noises, especially like my annoying computer noises, which are just... Will this short film be any locales we've seen thus? No, this is going to be new. It's kind of a minor story in the grand scheme of things, but it's new. So I just need the right brush size. That should work. Alright, so shoot. Why is the opacity 65%? I never even set that like that. Something like that. It's going to be kind of abstract, so it doesn't really have to be perfect. Nah, I'm going to do it the other way. There we go. It's going to be kind of tall as well. I should probably move this over. Scale it up a little bit. That. It's going to be kind of tall. these creatures are kind of tall in this short film. And it's not going to have a head, which is a bit different. I've tried drawing this thing before, but I didn't like how it turned out, so we're gonna do it better this time. So this is kind of like the basic shape of it. Again, it doesn't have like a head. Let's just fill in all of this, and I'm gonna make these arms a bit thicker. Yeah, just subtly. But yeah, principal photography for this short film is actually done. I need to edit it. I haven't even started editing it because I was working on Analog Archives 5 for a long time, and I'm still working on it. I was working on it today, but I kind of got stuck in a rut with like the climax of it. And that's another thing about like Analog Archives or just analog horror in general is, fun fact. Short films like analog horror actually follow a plot structure. I know it's crazy. I know it might seem abstract, but it's the truth. So if you're going to try and make that kind of stuff, I suggest, learning story structure in order to effectively create horror. That's what I pretty much do. The subject in Channel 7 Alpha Alert? No, that was the Interloper. I thought that was like kind of pretty well known. Yeah, no, this is something new. It hasn't been really shown before. And I thought of this idea. It was like in June. I basically spent a whole week just trying to think of ideas. And this one came to me and I really liked it. This one, I actually got this idea while I was I was riding my bike, and then I found this field place, and that was kind of like where I decided to create this thing. Okay, so that's the base. That's kind of what the body shape is going to look like. And the next thing I have to do is I'm going to create the eyes here. So just call this layer eyes. And for now, they're just going to be black, but they're going to be a different color later. Yeah, I got to zoom in here. These are kind of like a weird shape. No, those are too big. Yep, like that. If the SCP was canon to Channel 7, the series would end quickly. Yeah, probably, but that's the thing. Like, my series is kind of like the SCP universe, but really not really, because I feel like the SCP universe is kind of all over the place. Especially because there's a bunch of different writers working on it. Okay, come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's the eyes. So, yeah, this is a reference to something. Actually, a few things. But the thing in the thumbnail is actually kind of where I drew some of my inspiration for the design of this. And if you know where that's from, then, again, props to you. Because it's kind of an obscure thing. Alright, so I'm changing my brush now. And we're going to do this. It's time to do the shadows and highlights. Time to shade. Which I don't know why. I really like shading. It's like sculpting, but with paint color. It feels like sculpting, at least. Are you making it realistic? Yes, I will. Somebody got it. Mario Galaxy 2. That's where it's from. The sky trees are what they're called. These they're really strange. They're like this weird like sprite that can be seen if you look at the what was it, like Freeze Flame Galaxy, something like that. But yeah, if you look in the rim of this galaxy in the background, you can see these really disturbing figures. The thing I have in the thumbnail. Just like staring at you. But this creature isn't like a main creature. Cause something weird with like how the creatures work in Tempest films or Tempest Universe. And I think most people have figured it out so far. So this isn't there's a bunch of these things. These things are called stalkers, and there's a bunch of them. There's not just one, like how there's one tester or there's one interloper. There's a bunch of these things, but they all come from one source, and that source will be revealed. Oh, okay, you know what I did wrong? I was coloring over the wrong thing. Oh, let's see if I can undo all of this. I don't know if I can. How far back are we gonna go? Yeah, I made a mistake here. I'm stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to do this. And, oops. Alright, let's just try undoing like a bunch of times. But I doubt this will work. Because I made a lot of strokes. How am I gonna fix this? I guess it's fine. I could just color over it. Alright, I was just too excited, you know? I was just getting too excited. And got carried away there. Oh, shoot. I meant to do this. Darker colors. I'll have to erase the, anything outside of it later. But yeah, this short film, not sure when it's gonna come out. 'Cause I have a lot of stuff I'm working on now. And, yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard. I should probably go through and erase everything outside of it. That was my mistake. But yeah, I'm working on analog archives right now, which is taking up most of my time. There should be an AA episode based on Point Spirit. Oh, I don't. Okay, here's the thing. I don't like, because like everything I do is just original content. It's like my original stories. I don't like basing things off of, especially basing things on like real life like events. I just feel like I don't know. I just don't like that, especially when I'm creating horror. Everything in the universe is like its own original stuff. So yeah, that's why everything. I'm gonna try erasing this stuff because I kind of made a mistake here. This might take a while. Oof, yeah, I kind of made a mistake. Maybe I'll be able to see it better. No, it's not that bad, actually. Thought it'd be worse. And I just realized, actually, oh, shoot, I'm using the wrong brush for this. Yeah, hang on. Let's see here. I'll have to color over that. Let's get back to erasing this, though. Because I made a bit of a mistake. That was stupid on my part. I could try, like, magic erasing it, but I don't think that would necessarily work very well. I just gotta remember to make extra layers every time. Otherwise you make this mistake, which I'm just gonna erase this part and then I'll be done. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Burn this down. And yeah. Make this darker, of course. What's wrong with this? What in the world? Hang on, something wrong with this? Wait, that's weird. Everything should be fine. Why is this not working? Oh, you know, I'm using the eraser. Like, how stupid can I be today? Like, honestly, I'm really not having a good day, guys. There we go. Jesus. Alright, I'm just gonna work my magic on this thing. Made a few mistakes with this guy already, but it'll be fine. I'll work it out. Okay, I need a brighter color. Darker color. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. This is gonna end up better than how we started. That was a bit of a mess. Alright, highlights time. But when I was creating the first versions of these creatures, I was just learning my style, so that's why I don't like them. Alright, this is looking better now. But I should, like, fix the rims of the eyes here. And some more darker spots. I like how, like, there's darker spots coming out of the eyes. I think that really adds to it. Alright, so that's the basic shading done for this creature. So I'm guessing the name is Craig. For this creature. I haven't checked the chat in a minute because I was trying to fix my dumb mistake. But, okay, that's interesting. Alright, so I'm going to create another clipping mask here. And this is going to be like finer details. We'll just call this finer details. I'll probably use this later. But just, oops. Probably use that later. You should make it red and fleshy, maybe. Well, I have a certain aesthetic I was going for with these guys. So, I mean, like, I kind of have to, like, follow that. But I'm not going to actually work on these finer details now. I'm actually going to do veins. I'm just going to call this layer veins. Because it's just going to be, like, these tendril things. I have a weird obsession with tendrils. The Stalker is not in Rockstar. Nicole Moyer. That's the Feeler. That's a different creature. It's not this thing. So like, if you okay. I'm not like a huge fan of the Feeler and like its storyline. I feel like it just makes things more complicated. All right, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do with this thing. Something like this. And Aidan has a tendril fetish. Yes, thank you, Matthew. But yeah, this thing's gonna have like these veins here. I was thinking like having bones inside it, like just fleshy things coming out. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Try and make something like that. Why not make the Interloper come back in a future AA episode? Well, it kind of does, because the Bucks County storyline is about the Interloper. It's just very subtle. Like, the Interloper's still part of the lore, it's just kind of subtle now. Okay. This is not working. I'm definitely going to shade in these vines. A7 will be tangentially linked to it. Yeah, it will be. Like any of the Bucks County episodes, it is linked to the Interloper. I like this thing so far. What happened to the kids in Amber Alert? Oh, I'm not going to explain that. It's like the whole point of it. Just getting rid of more of this stuff here. Alright. Get back to drawing veins. Basically, these streams are just me drawing lots of veins. That's what it's really boiled down to. These things have special abilities, and like each of the counties in wrong one. Each in the counties in the Tempest Universe, they have their own themes. So this one has its own theme. It's a new county and everything, but it's minor because like there are a lot of minor stories in the Tempest Universe. It's not one of the major ones. So yeah, I can't wait to show it off when it comes out. Gotta get rid of more of this stuff here that I kind of screwed up on. Just fixing all of this. Okay. Yeah, this is getting better now. Yeah, I gotta fix. Oh, I gotta fix all of that. I didn't even see that. On the right side of the arm. This is such a pain. Such a pain. I don't know how I screwed that up. Maybe we can use this tool. Nope, that did not work. Let's tone down the tolerance a bit. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay, all right, let's get back to work. Veins. AA5 is in Eggs County. Okay. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but no. Alright, let's just do something like this. Just have some more tendrils coming off here. And then we have another one on this arm. But yeah, I'm like getting close to being done with AA5. There's just like a few problems that I have to get through in order to like make it as scary as possible, but it's getting close. Don't worry, guys. I'm trying my hardest here. But the real question is, when's the new Local 58 coming out? We already went through this yesterday, last stream. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, the main creature for this thing is like a humanoid thing. Much like it has a costume and everything that we had to design. Much like all the other Tempest creatures. Alright, I think that's mostly it for the veins. What if this was the thing in Channel 7 Lockwood Pine? No, that was the tester. I thought that was kind of obvious, but I guess not. Alright, so yeah, I think we can start shading this actually. So I'm not going to be stupid this time. I'm going to call this shading. And I'm actually going to create a clipping mask. Alright, hardness 11%, that's good. Turn this down a little bit. And turn that on. Okay. Looks like somebody's having a stroke in the chat. Alright, shading. It's always a fun thing. But I don't know how many of these creatures. Probably like 2 or 3. I'll probably use like 2 or 3 of these things. I obviously don't want to go overboard on it. But they're all different pretty much, just very slightly. But there's a lot of them, as I said before. And yeah, as I said before, this is a new creature. This is entirely new. And yeah, it hasn't been seen before. Imagine if everything was canon. Well, I mean, the only thing that's not canon is Channel 7. And there are already theories for everything else. This is canon. Channel 7 makes it more confusing. Adds a lot of unnecessary like, I don't want to go into why I dislike Channel 7. But there's a lot of unnecessary stuff and a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense. Which is why it's not canon. And, like, it makes it seem like there's aliens involved. There are no aliens involved. I think that should be well known. I think that should be something people know. Make this smaller. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. And once I'm done with these veins, I'm gonna start working like on the the actual body again, and finer details. The eyes are going to be red. I just haven't worked on them yet. I just wanted to put them in here for now. Just so you can see what they look like. The main like inspiration for most of the Tempest stuff is kind of like a weird mix between, I don't know if well, I think I might have explained this yesterday, but it's more like a mix between like web content, like the Slenderverse. This is where we got the interloper from. And also like the old Universal monsters, and then of course the H.P. Lovecraft, which I did talk about yesterday. Now I'm thinking about it. But I can't really explain much of the Tempest universe, because then it would kind of remove the ambiguity of it all. And that's kind of the weird part about it. It's just like these weird things going around killing people. You know, it's like, that's really all you need from life. Gigantic, these things are tall, by the way. These creatures here, stalkers, they're supposed to be like 20, 30 feet tall. They're also inspired by Trevor Henderson, his art. I don't know if you know him. But I do want to add a lot of detail to these things so I can use them in art pieces that I can put on Patreon or whatever. This story, this whole county it's small, but I kind of want to expand it in terms of its story. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some areas where I can expand it, and which I will hopefully be doing. All right, this whole area here. Well, what I'm doing now is I'm gonna add some more shading underneath it. Oops, I accidentally hit my computer. Yeah, no, these things are tall. These are these massive like creatures. Um, and they are very mysterious. Like, even in the short film, they're kind of left up to your imagination as to what they are and what the purpose is. So yeah, this next short film obviously is going back to more horror roots. Like Deus Ex Machina was different, and I was going more of like a Black Mirror / Twilight Zone route with that. And I had a lot of like inspirations from like Donnie Darko in terms of its like direction. But it was a bit different in its approach. But this is going back just to pure Tempest Universe kind of stuff. Yeah, no, AA covers, well, Volume 1, like, every episode is either one of 3 counties. Bucks County, Hanson County, or Summer County. Those are the 3 storylines ongoing currently. Okay, that's looking nice now. I think, though, it needs to be, like, darker in some spots to blend in kind of more with the skin. Oops. Okay, that looks better now. Tips on how / where to put the shadows in drawings. Well, you just got to think of like how lighting works. You know, so we have a light source on this side, and then over here is like the shadows, right? And so that's how you do like a basic shading, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it's stylized, right? So in terms of what I'm doing here, these shadows, these are like more just like how it blends in with the skin. It's like a bevel kind of thing. Just to make it look more natural. Especially because like the veins are pretty dark in comparison to like the background skin. Will EcoHelix / Viacorp make an appearance in AA lore? AA kind of strays away from most companies, like the Tempest Universe companies. It's kind of different in that way. It's mostly just about horror. It doesn't really explore like different stuff, and it has nods to different universe things, like Sunset Studios, but like that's really it. It doesn't really like tackle that kind of lore. Oops. Especially like Hyperion Uprising, which I feel like I'm not like a big fan. A lot of people are a big fan of Hyperion, which I understand, but to me personally, it's not like my favorite part of Tempest lore. It's just not scary. And I like scary stuff. You know, I gotta lighten some of this up. That's too light. Alright, yeah, there we go. That looks definitely pretty creepy. Alright, yeah, looking good. Yeah, Quarks, yeah, like, my thing about, because I tried to stray away from, like, the SCP Foundation kind of thing, because the thing about that is it kind of removes some of the scariness, because, like, I know a lot of people like it, but to me, it's more like there's nothing like the SCP universe in Tempest films because nobody really, like, everybody in the universe knows about as much as we do about these creatures, and that's what makes it kind of scary because nobody can do anything about them, and so we're kind of helpless. They're as helpless as we are, basically. That's like the whole point. And if nobody really knows what's going on with them, then we can't begin to understand them, or we can't begin to defeat them. I did forget highlight on this string right here. Okay. Now let's make this smaller. Oh shoot, that's why. Let's be on this one. Forgot the shading here. Nobody's worshiping Hyperion. That's not what's going on. In AA5, Hyperion is just not really. They're just hackers and vigilante kind of people. I think they're like, gonna save, or just, reveal the truth to the public about these creatures, but they themselves don't know what's going on. The only the most SCP thing in this universe is probably, I would say, probably the department, because those are the people trying to figure out what these things are. But of course they're not doing a good job of it. They don't really know. They know about as much as we do. And so that's where it's Hyperion is, again, just a bunch of like vigilante people. And I kind of explored that to its extent in Promethean Project, which is why I'm not really dwelling on Hyperion anymore. So I'm moving away from that story arc. It's because I feel like I've done a lot with it. And I know people really liked it, but for me personally, it just isn't as interesting as some of the other things. Because I feel like there's infinite possibilities with like these creepy towns. That's really my favorite part. There's all different themes you can explore with that. Which is why I like, creating these things. But then after this, I'm gonna try and do some more details on the skin. Just like create some interesting shapes. Try and play around with that. Use different types of brushes for that. This over here needs to be more detailed. This actually needs to be darker. I don't know what I was thinking. I hate when that happens. Okay. Over here. Work out the shading on this thing. Oh, that's way too big. And then, right, I have those, and then I have this left. And then it's done. For the shading, at least. The tetramorph. I already have ideas. It's called a stalker. The naming scheme for the creatures usually is like a verb, and then it's just a name, the name form of the verb. I don't know what that's called actually in terms of grammar. Should know. Probably called something. But like the interloper, the stalker, the tester, they all follow this the naming scheme. Tetragon maps. I didn't really have much plans for that, but I think it's I don't know. I didn't really have much plans. It was just a smaller detail in that thing. Which that version of the guide is outdated now. The new version will be in the encyclopedia. Well, it's just going to be part of the encyclopedia, so. Alright, it's looking good. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, we're almost done with this thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about today is it's pretty interesting how people are like unsubscribing from this account because it doesn't make channel 7 anymore. Probably because they don't know what this is supposed to be. They don't remember subscribing to it. Because I did post updates, but like, you know, a lot of people don't see those updates. Where I said that, you know, channel 7 is changing and becoming Tempest Universe. And I did post the channel 7 video, so you'd be able to infer what happened, but I don't know. Some people like I guess don't I was just testing something. I don't know. So I guess people just like don't realize these things very easily. How did you come up with the idea for the tester? It's actually inspired by a it was a weird story. It was a Reddit story actually, where it was I don't know if you know this, but it was on No Sleep, r/No Sleep, and it was that's a good brush. No, it was this one story from this park ranger. I don't know if you guys seen this one. And one of the stories in his whole thing was, you know, there was this like thing with a parka on it, had no face, and that's kind of where I got the idea from. So yeah, it's kind of where it spawned from. And the rest of the ideas actually came more so from just testing some things, sorry. Came more so from Marble Hornets than anything. That's where like the plot came from, at least. Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do something like this instead. Like different like blemishes, I guess, in the skin. No, I don't know what's sticking there. Something like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to add some like extra details here. I'm gonna blend them in later. I'm done. Yeah, that's the problem with grayscale. It sometimes you can't see the colors. Is there an origin? Well, I see. The thing is, I can't answer all these questions. It's supposed to be ambiguous. They're just monsters. They do things, yes, but they're still monsters. They just. They don't have a like they seem to just not have any purpose, and that's kind of the point. So I'm making these markings more just more like scratches than anything. And I'm gonna fix them later, but I want to make them look rigid. Okay. Here we go. That looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna work on like shading them. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Oh, that's why I turned off the opacity. Nah, I don't want to make it that big. Okay, come on. So yeah, these gonna be like pits. Like kind of like holes in the skin or something. I don't know. I'll add like some other details as well. Like blend them in with the rest of the skin. Because right now they're pretty dark. I don't want them to be that dark. It's looking pretty ominous though. pretty weird. They almost look like bullet wounds, in a way. Alright, I'm gonna turn pen pressure on. I think I went too crazy with that. Yeah, I think these are pretty dark. Too dark, I think. I think I should lighten them up. Because now it just looks like there's a lot of bullet wounds in this creature. Oh, I didn't even shade these. I'll just erase them. Oops, I forgot to erase this one too. Not sure about how this turned out. I'll lighten it up when I get the chance, but I don't know. In terms of like these holes, I might just redo this layer. I'm not sure if I like this idea. Yeah, I don't know if I like this idea. I feel like it's just too distracting. Too dark, I think, at least. Okay, let's do it again. This time, just adding like slight details. Ooh, you know what? I have an idea now. I can cut the body up and then create like different segments that look like they're bulging out. With shading. Yeah, that might be a better idea. What I was doing before wasn't really like a great idea. Alright, yeah, this is a better idea. I don't know why I did that. Just cut this thing way down the middle right here. Alright. And now you're going to see, use lighter colors, softer brushes, you know, all that. Turn off the pen pressure. Let's get to work with this thing. I should make the gaps in between darker. Yeah, I'll do that next. Make the gaps in between darker. After the dark spots, then yes, I will do that. Oh, I did do one right here. Didn't even notice it though. Oh, come on. Why? I didn't tap up there. Alright. And now for darker colors. Make it very subtle. The differences between the... I'm not sure how I like this one either. Let me try it again. Let's try it again. Different idea. I'm just going to use details instead. So, bump up the hardness. Make the size smaller and give it... Let's see this brush. Okay, that's better. Maybe try just like under the skin veins. Yeah, that might work. Let's try that. Okay, that looks cooler. And then I could shade it later. Oh, and by the way, the monster's name, it's called the Stalker. And there's not just one, there's a bunch of these things. They're like there's a lot of them. Alright, that looks looking good. Maybe do one more here. And now I can I can do like the softer detail, like the softer shading on it. Or maybe I should do darker. Oops. Let's go up here. Yeah, there's gonna be some veins that are like more apparent and then ones that are less apparent. Like the one at the top is more apparent. And then this one down here is gonna be less apparent. It's gonna be very, very light. Alright, almost done with this segment here. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. I'm gonna actually lower the opacity so it's more hidden. It's like an undertone kind of thing. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the shading and I'm gonna work on some finer details in the shading. So let's do that. I don't like that actually. Yeah, no, this creature is called the Stalker. I said before, I'm not changing the name. Yeah. I think there was originally a different Stalker in the Tempest Universe, like before the canon changed. But now this is the official Stalker. Like, there was another Stalker creature before the canon changed. That's not dark enough. Yes, his name is Craig. I'm sorry, guys. His name's actually Craig. That's what I meant to say the whole time. And then after this, I think I'm going to work on the eyes. Alright, that looks cool. I'm a fan of this thing now. Let's start working on the eyes. Okay, so I'll create a layer here. And I don't know, call this eye shading. And first thing I'm gonna do is just do very light like shadows around the eye, or just actually fill it up different color, just like a just tonal gray color. And then just do this, just work on the shadows. And then the highlights. But this thing's a bit different because it's gonna have like red eyes. So just choose that color ish. And I'm gonna turn off that. Alright, so that's like the first pupil kind of thing. And that one looks too big. It's supposed to look like a little janky. And, you know, just a little unsettling. Alright, so the next thing that we should do is we should work on the shading in here. Oh, yeah, shoot. And it's gonna have some glow anyways, so I mean that doesn't really matter if we spill outside. I don't like that. And I think that kind of works anyways. Let's do the other side. Let's make it even like whiter at the top. Alright, it's looking pretty good. We need some darker tones though. And then my next plan for this thing was gonna actually make it like flow out of the eyes. Like this, so it looks like the whatever is in here, like the spectral energy, is coming out of the eyes. And then, of course, we have to do that on the actual shading. So I'm going to create another clipping mask. Let's just save this real quick. Yeah, no, that's way too long. And then here, more of it flowing out. All right, looking pretty good. I'll create highlights on these. And then I'm also going to create like darker blood. And I'm just gonna make it soft this time. Something like that, maybe. Except I don't like how it goes above the eye. I'm just gonna make it more down here. All right, well, that's looking cool. So yeah, this is the Stalker. It's not done yet. How long have we been streaming for? It's been like an hour and like 15 minutes, I think. Something like that. And then I'm gonna actually have blood like coming up its arms. Like this. And then coming up its legs. All right. It's looking good. All right. Next thing I want to do is I want to create more detailed blood. Just make it lighter. feel like it goes too high up there, actually. Oh, come on, stop doing that. Alright, that's cool. We gotta add more details down here. I feel like it's missing something, though. I don't know what, though. Like it needs some kind of, I don't know, maybe I'll just work on some of the shading, I guess. Maybe that'll help. Maybe, make this like that. I don't know. I don't like that. I can darken the eyes a little bit, but you know. I think that looks a little bit better. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be pretty much done. So that's just one of the creatures. There's another one that I have to make as well. So let me just switch over here. I haven't had a drink in a while. I should probably do that real quick. But yeah. I'm gonna probably make a second one. Sorry, I'm a little thirsty from that. I'm actually gonna probably make the second version of the creature, but first I gotta save this thing. So let me just quickly do that. Shoot, I need to save it as a PNG, so get rid of the background. We're just gonna call this Stalker 2. Let's save that as PNG. All right, cool. Let's. Actually, no, I gotta create the file first. That's the first thing. So I'm gonna create a new file here. This one I think is gonna be a little quicker than the last one. But once I'm done this, I can just start working then on the video, start editing it. But of course, I mean I've got to do gotta work on Analog Archives 5 first, so I have to do that before I start working on this anyways. It's called Stalker 3. Alright. Ready to go. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so we're just drawing the same thing again, another stalker. I think I used like this color, something like that. And the size can be pretty variable. Let's do that. This time I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made last time. So yeah, this one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a head. It's going to be like this. Something like that. Yeah. So that's going to be the head. And that little thing there is the neck. And then, of course, it's going to have its arms. Maybe make the arms lower. Oh, actually, I have to erase some things here. Because this neck looks kind of weird. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to erase this whole thing here. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to erase this whole area here. Redo the head. Kind of like a xenomorph thing. This one's different because it has one eye instead of two. I'm gonna make this longer. Oops. If I can actually do it, it'd be great. No, come on. Actually, actually chose the wrong color. Something like that. And then now I gotta work on these arms here. Something like that. That looks kind of cool. And for the legs, obviously have to add some more like structure to these legs because they're kind of cool. All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the basic shape for this one. And Let's just scale it down a little bit, put it in the middle. And I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm going to create a clipping mask. And I'm going to be too lazy to add any names for the layers, because, yeah, I'm lazy today. I wasn't lazy earlier. I'm lazy now, though. No, what the heck? He even does that. Oh, oops. It's clicking eraser instead. Again, I was clicking eraser. There we go. So yeah, this one, it's going to be the same height as the other one. It's like 20 to 30 feet tall. So it easily towers over trees. And it can be seen at night. Typically in twilight. And you know what I just realized? I should probably edit these a bit more. Nope, not that one. Not that one either. This needs to be connected. It doesn't really matter though. I mean, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. All right, let's get back to work on this one. And turn that off. Turn that off. All right, cool. All right, time for the highlights. The highlight reel. I need to darken this up a bit more. Yeah, people have done like fan drawings of the local 58 monster. There's no like official one, so it could be uncertain what it actually looks like. But there is a fan drawing that kind of resembles this. But then again, this thing's more based on like Trevor Henderson than that creature, so. All right, maybe a little bit more shadows. I actually had drawn this thing early on, but I didn't like the design that I made for it. Like, I didn't like how I did it. Like, I had the same kind of design, but I didn't really like it. Like how I actually drew it. So I'm doing it again. Alright, that's the basic shading. Next thing I need to create is the eye. And this thing, it has one eye. Maybe I should make it smaller than that. That's better, yeah. That's what I was kind of going for. Alright, so cool. Next thing I want to do is I want to create some vines, which are actually going to be, or like tendril things. Yeah, that's like kind of the basic color that I used. Alright. Yeah, I use Final Cut Pro for everything. Like After Effects for just visual effects work, but Channel 7 doesn't need visual effects. And Channel 7 is not really interesting in terms of its like production. I think it's pretty easy to figure out how I did it. If you like know anything. It also kind of looks like the Gygus from Earthbound Beginnings or Mother 1. Now that I look at it. Especially this one because of the head. That's too big. I'm just gonna look at the oh come on, other stalker, just to see exactly like, oh yeah, right, I gotta remember the diffused veins underneath when I get there. Oops, I meant to click that button. So yeah, so the same process as before, you know, just creating these vines. Something real special about this. By the way, is there anything you guys want to talk about? Because like this stream's been kind of chill, like in terms of like anything like discussion wise. Like I haven't really been talking about too much here. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about, then put it into the chat. By the way, like if you're wondering why the gray tones disappear, it's because, but it's not. It's just it's the same color. Just your eyes playing tricks on you. I think once I'm done with this, I'm not going to be drawing for a good while because I've been drawing all the time. But you know, thank you guys for like coming out here, supporting the stream, supporting the content. Thank you for not unsubscribing, because a lot of people have left recently. It's sad, but they're probably just like Channel 7 fanboys anyways. Are there plans to expand the Order of the Tempest? Well, there's a whole idea for the Order of the Tempest, and they're kind of integral to. They're more integral to the plot than Hyperion ever was. But the fair disclaimer with that is you won't see much of the Order of the Tempest, because they're supposed to be left to be more ambiguous, and also they just won't appear in like any of the short films or anything anytime soon, because they don't really have a need to be in there as of now. But they still exist in the lore and whatnot, and they're still a pretty big part of like what happens toward the end of the story. All right, that's it for the vines, or the tendril vein things. How many people work on Tempest films? Well, there's a lot of actors / producers, and but I make most of the stuff. I do all of the like art, like pretty much all of the stories, all the editing, pretty much all the directing. So, yeah, I'm pretty much the one person who runs it all, because I don't have money to like pay people to do it for me, so I pretty much do it myself. But I wouldn't really trust other people to do the art and whatnot unless they're like really good, because I like to do everything myself pretty much. Okay, now we're gonna get going with shading. So create clipping mask there, and make this smaller. Not that small though. And make this dark. And let's go. Yeah, shading the dark is not very interesting at all. The darker tones, especially on here. But at least, it'll help it stand out from the weird optical illusions that go on with grayscale. That's why I don't like grayscale. It's because there's optical illusions. Prefer working in blood. Blood red's much more interesting in my opinion. I don't like skin tones though. Skin tones are complicated. Okay, that's looking good. I don't think I like these creatures as much as the cross from yesterday. But, Any plans to visit the 50-60 stuff from Channel 7? Well, not really, because that stuff is mostly not canon anymore. I might do a video based on that, not in Volume 1 of Analog Archives, but possibly Volume 2. I might do a video based on that, like, kind of style. I'm still thinking of it, though. I have to decide if I want to do that. And I have to decide, like, what it would be about in the first place. But now the lore is expanded in numerous ways. And it kind of every time I expand the lore, it's basically to make it creepier. And what I find would be better, not necessarily expand it, but like changing the canon and changing the lore. It's basically to make it creepier / what I would find to be a better, more intriguing story. Thankfully, it doesn't really affect any current projects, but the only thing it affects is channel 7. So we're pretty much good on that. Alright, let's work on the highlights now. Highlights are not very fun in this. Hard to pin down. But yeah, I've been kind of waiting to show these creatures off, and I thought this would be an interesting way to do it. Again, they're kind of minor in the lore, but they're still interesting. They're not as iconic, but I can't really say what's specifically canon anymore, because it's kind of confusing. A lot of it changed though since Channel 7. It's like, because there's like very confusing with like the alien stuff, and which isn't really true anymore. It's like my series definitely isn't about aliens at all, which is why those videos just make things very confusing, and why I don't like them anymore. I do like the visual style for Invasion though. I like that. I watched it again. I like how I did the what's it called? That the whiteout over some of the words. I thought that was cool. Instead of like writing like redacted or something stupid like that. You know. I'll definitely think about going back to that visual style again in the future, but I don't know when. I don't have any plans right now for it. But in terms of things to talk about, let's think. Oh, I guess we could talk about me being a filmmaker. Cause like I never like I haven't always wanted to be a filmmaker. It really started when I became like I was like probably like 11 or so. Anytime before that, I wanted to be a scientist, like a theoretical physicist. I also wanted to. Oh, when I was like 3, I wanted to be an astronaut. But you know, that's like every kid when they're 3. But I did want to be like a theoretical physicist when I was younger. Because I always used to like different sciencey things. I still like science fiction. But I don't really know where I pin down my love for horror. I know when I was little, in terms of science, like I used to love different types of clouds, and I used to love telephone poles for some weird reason. And electrical wires. I always thought those were cool. But I guess horror, I never really understood why I liked like different like darker aesthetics and creepy stuff until I was a lot older. And I think even recently I probably figured out why I like this kind of stuff. Because when I was little, I hated like horror movies because I didn't want to be too scared too much. As I was always have like nightmares about stuff. I was scared of the scene with the Wampa in Star Wars with the blood. I was scared of that when I was younger. So that's kind of funny. But no, when I was younger, I mean, like I will tell you that here's like a random story that I just like vaguely remember. Basically, I was so I don't know if you guys know this, but it's New Super Mario Bros. DS. I don't know if you guys know this game. This was like my favorite game when I was younger. It was one of my favorite games. But when I first got it, I would love looking at the box art for different video games. And on this box art, the world map was different. So I always thought when I was younger that like there was different worlds that could be unlocked, and there's like a special area in the game that needed to be unlocked. I didn't know that was just like concept art that they used on the screen on that screen there on the box art. I didn't understand that when I was younger, so I always thought it was like some special thing. And when I was looking at and there's always, if you don't know about New Super Mario Bros. DS, there was two worlds that were like secret, and that was the forest world and the sky world. And to me, I always thought that the forest world was like a haunted place, like a haunted forest, because I saw my friend in a haunted forest like place, and I was always like mystified by this because I always thought that haunted houses were so interesting, especially when you get to the first haunted house in the game, which took me a really long time when I was about 6, 7. It took me a really long time to get there because I was stupid and didn't know how to play the game. But when I finally got to the first haunted house, I was like, what the heck is this? And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever, how there was a haunted house in the game. Because for some reason, I always loved like Halloween aesthetics, and like I guess I always really just liked horror stuff, but I just never understood it. I never understood that I actually liked it. I was just intrigued by it. And it just always like stuck with me. But I finally got to the world that my friends were playing was actually the last one, World 8. Which ended up being one of my favorite in the beginning because there was like this really creepy aesthetic, like these weird like pumpkin creatures, these weird like crows. You know what? Let's redo some of this. Kind of mess this up here. And I always liked that place because it was like different and unique. It was like scary, but it wasn't like a house. It was outdoors. I was never a big fan of like the haunted houses in the end because they were just indoors and they weren't really aesthetic. Outdoors though, creepy trees and stuff. That is interesting. That's what I always like about. I love creepy trees. I don't know why. But creepy trees are just like fun. That's where a lot of the aesthetic of Tempest Universe comes from. That kind of basic concept. That's why I like Local 58 and all this kind of stuff with these creepy things. I don't know. There are a bunch of other instances I can point out where I gained this liking toward the aesthetic. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. But it always just kind of stuck with me. You know, this brush needs to be softer. Too much hardness. Yeah, let's undo some of this stuff. Alright. It's a bit better. I'm going a bit too crazy on this sometimes. get too dark. Yeah, it's also why I like Stranger Things. Although I feel like they reveal too much with the. They're removing a lot of the horror aspect, which I'm not really a fan of. So I don't really watch Stranger Things for that aesthetic. Although I do like the cinematography that they call back to the 80s in terms of that kind of stuff, and I really like that and I appreciate it a lot. But in terms of horror aesthetic, I don't know about that, Chief. They're kind of slacking, which is a shame, because there really needs to be a TV show or just something with that kind of aesthetic nowadays. Because modern horror stuff is a lot different. It's like neo horror, very twisty, very existential. Not as much like cosmic horror. That's very hard to make cosmic horror. But one of these days I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a movie like that, feature-length movie. But first, you got to make the Tempest Universe TV show, which is just going to be an anthology series where every episode is basically like the short films, except the focus is entirely on the core aspects, like Lockwood Hills, The Interloper, and stuff like that. Probably even one based on this story. I was thinking about it. The things I'll cut from that be a more refined lore, it'll make a lot more sense. I'll definitely cut Rockstar and that whole thing, because that, in terms of the monster lore and stuff behind it, it just makes it confusing. It's not the same as everything else. I don't know what's up with my freaking screen. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm liking this a little bit more than the last one. Just a little bit, though. All right. Yes, this is looking pretty good. We've got a few more of these tendrils to deal with, and then we can move on to finer details, such as the eye of Sauron. But yeah, I really want to just work on a big production one day. I think I will eventually. One of these days. Two hours so far. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a longer stream. The reason is because I'm doing two pieces, not just one. It would have been shorter if I had just done the one guy. But this is just this creature. I mean, I'm almost done, so. No, I didn't like that. All right, yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm liking like the vines here. I'm liking the vines a little bit better than the last one. This guy. I feel like they're more subtle this time around. I wonder if we'll ever get more of an audience. I think the only way we can get like a big audience is if like some other YouTube channel like covers it, and that's the only real way that this series will even get like popular. I don't, because the upload schedule just doesn't adhere to YouTube. So I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. Okay. Anyways, next thing, eyeball time. Yeah, this is another guy that I'm working on here. Oh, you know what? I should just fill the whole thing in. And then darker down the bottom. Down here and brighter up top. And then just do that. Alright, cool. So that's the eye. Yeah, I mean, it's like Tempest Universe is pretty underground. So, you know, whatever. I mean, I don't really care about like viewers that much. I mean, I have a lot of people who theorize, which is cool, and then that's pretty much fine. Oh, that's not the right thing. Come on. It's just pretty much fine enough for me. I don't really mind. But what does bother me is when people like unfollow, because I need to figure out why. Like, what am I doing wrong? Alright, cool. So there's the eyeball. I did like make these darker, didn't I? Like a, yeah. And then I did the blood streaming down from it. Yeah. Thought that was kind of creepy looking. So for this, we need to do that. All right, cool. And then we do the same thing on, we need to create another layer for this. On this layer here. I actually shared a picture of one of the earlier designs back on Twitter like a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was kind of a while ago. And I need to do some highlights and actually do some darker spots first. And then the highlights. I should probably do this up here as well. All right. What was the layer of this one right here? No, this is probably this one. Yeah. So I'm gonna make like a some blood effects. Maybe make it a bit darker. Maybe have to fade it out a little bit. All right, that's looking cool. The one thing I'm missing here though is the like underneath shading thing. I don't know what to call it. The diffused subsurface. That's what I'm looking for. Need to create some subsurface objects. All right. Gotta create a few of these things. I don't like that one. And then I should probably do some more details on the shading later. Okay, do a few more down here. Shading on it. No, wait, that's too big. I'm gonna make this layer darker or less visible. I'm done. All right. Oh, I did do one up here. That was way too dark. I don't know why. What I was thinking. Alright, yeah, so I'm going to make this whole, change the opacity of this whole layer. Put it underneath that. And then, back to here again. Something like that, maybe? No. Kind of like the neck area. I gotta blend this in more. Alright, looks better. And then gonna go back and create some more lines here. Now, what did I forget from this? I don't think I really forgot anything. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, you know I did? I forgot the blood on the ends of it. But that's about it. Then it's done. And I'm not a big fan of this over here. This mess. All right. Yeah, it's looking good. And then last layer, it's just red. That's probably the wrong layer, isn't it? Which layer was it, anyways? This one, probably. This is why I have to name layers. All right, yeah, just make it very slight, very subtle on the bottom there. Oh, and then one last thing. Just add some more detail here. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's gonna be done. So yeah, that's it for the stream. Thank you guys for joining. That was long. How long was that? 2 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, it was a little longer than the last stream. not too terribly bad. But thank you guys for coming out here. I don't know what I'm gonna be streaming next. Probably like I don't know. I'm thinking we do like a reaction stream next or something simple. Because I don't want to draw again. Because I did that twice in a row and that was kind of exhausting. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming out here, checking out the stream. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I don't know when it'll be, but it will be sometime. So, bye guys.